Hi, very good morning. We are Monsoon Projects, and we are a firm started in 2019, right after our graduation. And it's a project which came to us in the very first year of practice and got finished in last December only, after 4 years of ups and downs during the COVID period and all. Both a difficult time for us and for the client as well. So, urban living is a symphony of ambition, diversity, and progress, playing the soundtrack of modern life. This home is located in Calicut city center, only 200 meters away from the district civil station and 30 meters away from a state highway. And this home harmoniously weaves together family bonds, offering a cozy space for foster happiness. And even in the urban hustle, through the creative design, psychological planning, and sustainable concepts, it transforms into a vibrant urban home, blending drama, light, visual elements for a lively, eco-conscious livelihood. This particular project pays homage to a client's roots in Kayalpattanam, which is a coastal Muslim settlement in Tamil Nadu with a deep-seated heritage of business acumen. Drawing inspiration from the client's ancestral connections, the design celebrates the essence of family togetherness. In crafting this dwelling, the focus lies on fostering a sense of which encapsulates the present for a collective interactions while carefully maintaining a veil of privacy from the busy outside street. So, like you can see, that red color mark is a site, and it's an actual photograph of the building. The strategic placement considered the terraced landscape, fostering connections with the neighboring family homes. The spatial organization not only speaks to the tradition of courtyard home, but also elevates it, transforming the very essence of the house from an embracing structure to that unfolds into a surrounding landscape. The courtyard emerges as the nucleus of this dwelling, and it serves as a bridge between the spaces, in facilitating not only the connectivity but also as a ventilation pattern that mimics the wisdom of our traditional architecture. Like you can see, the red color marked block on right above it's a client's siblings home, and during the finishing stages of this construction, they bought also a plot in the left side as well for the younger sibling. So initially we had to plan a building which gets an interaction with the previous owners. And as you can see, the site is located in a tight plot of 10 cents. And client wanted something which interacts with the environment, but they have to get a privacy from the busy street as well. So we have to maintain that, and we have placed the living areas with a buffer of a courtyard, not completely closing from the street, but also connects, but maintaining privacy with the courtyard. And on the rear side bedroom, which has a outside garden area, which is like an L-shaped veranda space, which actually connects to the siblings' home. And the kitchen also has a garden space, and the parking is solved in the beginning stage as well. It's the first floor. And there's a second floor due to the requirements of the client. So what the main difficulty while we were designing was to break the difficulty of communication when we are going above more than 2 floors, to break that verticality. So we had to keep a stair as a main element to enable the conversation to happen, to connect within the spaces. That stair also is placed in a centrally placed courtyard space. So you can see how the people can interact using the stair as a node for interactive spaces. It's another section which shows the street, and there's a large volume of balcony space which connects the upper and bottom bedrooms. The below one is the parents' bedroom, and the upper one is the kids' bedroom. Beyond aesthetics, architecture lies in thoughtful sustainability. A design that breathes with proper ventilation, strategically positioned shades, diminishing the reliance of air conditioning and the material minimalism. Wall finishes are achieved with zero paint usage throughout, except for the metal parts. A minimalist ethos governs the material palette and spatial arrangement, fostering the simplicity and elegance. This is the main pedestrian entry point. This is a car porch entrance. Evolving from an embracing structure, the house transforms into an open sanctuary, seamlessly integrating with its surroundings and within itself. The living spaces are designed in such a way, ensuring the family conversations echoes, minds relaxes when the morning rays hits the misty leaves or the cold cotta floor, and soothes the mind even after a hustling city day. The interlocking elements, finely crafted wooden and metal screens, glass walls framed in wood, and oxygen-infused cement plaster walls creates an ethereal dance with light as well. In the subtle play of light, the residence reveals its second defining feature, a deliberate layering that orchestrates the interplay of light and material. Smooth as a human skin, yet crackle like a stretched rice paper, the walls metamorphose, embracing the transient drama of canvas that engages with light in symphony of tones. The stair not only acts as a vertically connecting element, but also an interactive nodes between spaces and volumes. Beyond aesthetics, the architectural fineness lies through thoughtful sustainability, a design that breathes to proper ventilation and strategically positioned shades, diminishing the reliance of air conditioning. The minute and this the family living space in the upper floor. As you can, there you can see the stair landings as well. A building should deeply inhabit their environs. Rather than seizing space from a landscape, I believe human don't enter space from outside of nature, but exist within in the matrix. And when referring to nature, I'm referring to a man and nature as being reversible part of the same entity. This is said by Bijoy Jain. And I think it has a relevance in an organically developing urban scape like Kerala. This home was designed not just as a dwelling, but as a narrative and a harmonious blend where family bonds find solace in the artistry of architecture. And it's the beginning of our continuous experiment to learn from the past, not just the mere materiality, but how the life evolves, dialogue with spaces happens, and to curate and create a conversation between the human and the built. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good that we are listening to you. You are a poet by heart. A poet has all the rights to do what the soul demands, right? And you are allowed to do black, you are allowed to do red, both colors which are very unusual in architecture in this excess that you have presented. I don't want to do here psychoanalysis. One is almost tempted. Poet, dark, red. We were just seeing the guy who climbs up the tree has red t-shirt. The red wine is on the table.
That was
I noticed a
completely
gas
accidental.
cylinder
Okay.
that was also red.
That was completely accidental.
I have a red tissue paper. I think you have organized this one also. But what is the secret behind the red and the black, of course?
Black is actually a conscious incorporation of. We wanted something, an element like to control the light. In a traditional Kerala home, especially, it's not like an overlit space which comes like a homely space, even though therefore the Tamil Nadu row house settlement also for the client. So we wanted to incorporate the black staircase as a light controlling element, like how we get the light in a older Kerala home, or how we get the controlled light in a rainforest under a huge shadow. The downfalling light from the above staircase source. We wanted to control that a little bit through that black staircase. That's the only element which comes in the interior as a black element.
No,
And
no, the whole interior is black. It's not an element. Gray, deep, black, black. The other is deep gray, anthracite. Very, very gray.
that's a cement. That's a simply
With
cement
some
plus.
pigment.
That's a cement plaster with white cement mixture and the oxide.
Okay. Now to the red.
Not with the red.
What happened to the red?
The red, actually, like I said, the client was hailing from Tamil Nadu, which is a, and that's a coastal side settlement, which mainly deals with business. And they wanted to do something colorful to break the monotony. So we wanted to make a colorful splash to break that monotonous white and gray look. And the clients also liked a colorful element to add. So we mutually agreed upon that. And the red adds up a warmth, not just anything else.
Good. Now we are over with this. Now let's get to the other one. Your building actually stood out from its architecture. I loved it. When we saw the presentation, the way the voids are created from the facade, the way the roof sits like a hat on top of the building, protecting it nicely, was very, very well resolved. But then I think I asked you, the same client is building a building or his brother is building behind it.
Yeah,
And he's taking you as an architect,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
But there you are doing a building which is just doing opposite what this building is doing.
No, you have seen the rear side of that residence only.
Oh, that's a rear side.
Yeah,
Because the rear side of that building lacks that porosity, lacks that wanting to connect to its neighborhood. It is like a citadel. It's like totally blank and very hard and not wanting to connect to this building. So one would be surprised why this kind of looking back.
Yeah, there's an L-shaped open space which is in the rear side, like you have seen. That makes a rectangular void space for the common space. Then there's a well as a common space, which is shared by this home and the other home that comes in the center. And the right-hand L-shaped void, I think you may have seen. That's an open space which interacts with the space. Here also, the stair landings, the balconies, and everything as the provision for the conversation, like the open window from the landing space and the balconies opening to that space. That's happening. The other building also has the same elements which connects with each other.
Okay.
Yeah, the building, I'm not talking about the other building that's coming up, in a very tight lane. It's a large building, but its presence and its kind of the way the massing is, all buildings are almost on the street, but it still manages to sit lightly on the side, and that's skillfully done. And even on the inside, even though it's a fair built up, it manages to hold together. Given that this is one of your earliest projects, there's a remarkable degree of maturity that you've shown in crafting it together. I found it very cute that the clients asked for it to be colorful, and the maximum you could give them was this red everywhere. There's, Dr. Vinod Gupta, one of the sort of pioneers of sort of sustainable and true, like not platinum rating, but actually passive sustainability. And for the Nalanda University, once we were hopping around Bihar, and we were seeing all these colorful houses that people were building. And he made this comment that has stayed with me. He said that architecture education leaches all sense of color from Indian architects, which we otherwise instinctively have for our clothing, for our food. And we are so self-conscious and terrible, honestly, in how we deal with color. We just pretend these grays and beige tones are very refined, but we are all really afraid of color. And I think there's something to really, in the early stage of your practice, to really look into, because that was actually for us, we really struggled with it when we saw the photograph, and when we went to the site, we struggled with it even more, because one can sense that discomfort. And it's the same with black. You know, the thing with traditional houses as a typology is that traditionally we didn't spend all the time in the house. One would spend it actually where there is light, or at least there's access to light. You know, even if you're sitting in the porch, there's like harsh glare there. So if one is to inhabit, especially children, etc., in the house constantly, for me in the the staircase, because the staircase has a heaviness in its tectonics, and is sort of in the heart of the house. It is the central courtyard, so to say, and it sort of looms everywhere. So there's a sense of heaviness to it, which just gets sort of that much more heavy with this thing of taking gray and then making it black. And you see this in the photographs and videos also, because, you know, it's like in the center, because that's what black does, right? It sucks all the light in and reflects nothing back. I understand the intention from where you're coming from, but if you're looking at the canopy of a forest, you know, there's a certain playfulness to it, which even when it controls the light, sort of elevates you a little bit. And that, in this sense, just felt like a very heavy insert into, otherwise, when you enter the house, that courtyard that you've created, where the father of the client was sitting so beautifully, that manages what you're saying, because there are shadows, but the light is dappled and it's playful. And that I think, like, as you go ahead, I would say, take that as a starting point rather than what the staircase is doing to the light. But beyond that, I think a very good degree of resolution in how the building sits on the site, what it reveals and how it reveals, and also in terms of form, and also in individuality to all the different spaces that we visited. It's as a starting project with COVID, etc., a remarkable effort. So thank you.
Thank you so much.